With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu. At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Ranked #1 in innovation for 10 consecutive years and #2 among public universities for employability. ASU isn't just ahead of the curve. It's creating new paths to success. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Ever get the feeling you're being watched online? It's Data Brokers. They collect your personal info, your browsing habits, where you live, and who you're related to, and then sell it to the highest bidder. Aura helps stop that. Aura automatically removes your personal info from data broker sites and keeps it off. It also monitors the dark web, protects your devices, alerts you to real-time threats, and more. Start your free trial at aura.com/listen. That's AURA.com/listen for your free trial.
Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From the Queen Casino in downtown Baton Rouge, DraftKings Sportsbooks. Welcome to the Monday edition Live at Lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff along with Jimmy Ott. Max Gotro with us. Jordan Kitchens in the studio back at Guarantee. A rainy, very overcast and nasty day here in Baton Rouge. Stay safe as you're moving around. If you'd like to come by and have lunch with us here at the Queen and watch some of the first game of the College World Series. It'll start right when we wrap up here at 1 o'clock. Love to have you come down here at the Queen. Well, the LSU baseball team in the winner's bracket, which I'm sure you know by now if you're listening to this, a 4-1 win against Arkansas on Saturday night. Tigers will play UCLA tonight at 6 o'clock. The game, quite simply, was dominated by LSU pitching, specifically Cade Anderson, who kind of, if there was any doubt before as to just what kind of prospect he is and just what kind of rock he has been for LSU this season, well, that got answered on Saturday night. 7 innings of 3-hit, 1-run baseball, 2 walks and 7 strikeouts only begins to tell a story. There really wasn't a whole lot of places in this game where Arkansas was able to apply offensive pressure to LSU. They didn't have an at-bat with runner in scoring position until the latter third of the game. LSU turned 2 double plays, one in the second and one in the fourth, round-the-horn double plays that gave Anderson all the room he needed to work with and really prevented Arkansas from putting any type of stress on Anderson at any real point in the game. The one run that he gave up was a home run. Nate Yeske called it the only mistake that Anderson made all night. It also had a trickle effect. LSU's Anderson forced Dave Van Horn into some difficult decisions early in this game. With LSU up 3-0, Zach Root not really getting hit hard at all, but struggling a little bit with his command with a couple of walks and a hit batter. And LSU already up 3-0. Van Horn decided to gamble that he could not give up any more runs and that Root was not going to be able to handle that. And so he went to his best bullpen arm in Gabe Gackel. Gackel did his job. He pitched 6 innings and only gave up 1 run and struck out 10 of the 16 strikeouts, we'll get to that in a minute, for LSU on Saturday night. But Arkansas's offense was never able to claw back into this thing. So for Van Horn, it was probably the right decision. Probably had to do that. Root was struggling enough to where he wasn't going to hold him at 3. But now you're in the loser's bracket and you're down your top two arms. Root, they could probably bring back a little bit earlier than they had originally expected, but Gackel, who threw 90 pitches, is probably down for most of the week. So Arkansas's got a very deep pen, but Anderson's dominance, and Van Horn talked about it after the game, caused him to make a move that maybe he wouldn't have made against any other pitcher in this tournament. Maybe Jacob Morrison, I don't know. But it was, as expected, a low-scoring game. It was a terrific defensive game. You had some really nice plays in this game. Neither of these teams made an error. They're both outstanding defensive clubs. For LSU, it continued to trend from the Super Regional that they're not getting a lot of hits, but at least the ones that they're getting are productive. The RBI single by Chris Stanfield that plated the second run, and then I thought a terrific piece of hitting by Derek Curio when they brought the left-hander in to face him. A 2-out RBI single to left field in the eighth inning that gave LSU one more insurance run and gave them a 4-1 lead. The Tiger Bats are going to have to pick up today. They get the pitching matchup that they want. They got Anthony Einson on the mound. Landon Stump is a very good pitcher. We'll get to UCLA, but the Tiger Bats have got to get it going. 6 hits is probably not going to be enough in some of the games they're going to face later on. But, Jimmy, you did what you had to do. This was one of those win it however you can games, and Cade Anderson was phenomenal. Chase Shores and Kason Evans behind him, and LSU put themselves where they want to be today in the winner's bracket.
I think Van Horn did the move he made, and look, Root was pissed.
He was.
He was hot, and it kept him in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was an unorthodox move maybe, but it was a huge game. I mean, the loser's got to win 4 in a row.
Yeah. Play
an extra game, come out of the loser's bracket. That's hard to do, and so they it made it where Anderson didn't have really much room for error, and Anderson, early to mid part of the season, was maybe a top 10 roughly prospect. He's 1 or 2 right now because how good he's been. You throw in there how the park plays. Well, Anderson in this form, in this park, bro, they barely threaten. It's funny, I was doing a spot with Tim Murray on VEASAN yesterday, and I was an hour later than an Arkansas guy. Now, he's a college baseball handicapper, and he bases stuff, but his whole thing, remember, I jog your memory back a week or two, and we talked about, because I think it was Little Rock or whoever that we talked about, I think when they lost, I think we were here 2 weeks ago. He's like, we just weren't focused. We weren't this. And I'm like, well, that's kind of what the fans, whenever their team doesn't live up to expectations in a particular game, that's kind of Arkansas. Not one mention of Cade Anderson. He said, man, this was just so frustrating. I mean, they were so tight. They were 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They were how can you play so good so long, and then you get to the big stage and you just kind of crap the bed? I said, Tim, you weren't going against a walk-on. We in Athens with the wind blowing out. I mean, right. This is Skip Burtman, and this was in Hoover one year, and I always like to say, who's the picture, and I forget they lost this game, and they said, listen, the hitting, the fielding, the base running, the strategy, dominant pitching trumps everything. This is what you have. You and I agreed. How about that? We agreed. There's one guy we want in a game right now in college baseball. One guy. You get your choice. Anybody in the country. Teams that are here in Omaha, teams that are home, teams that didn't even get here. We both agreed Anderson.
Yeah.
He's around the plate. He mixes his pitches. He's pitched against the toughest lineups in baseball in the toughest venues to pitch. And then you go to Omaha? Give me a break. And he was phenomenal. That was as quiet. I guess he was right. Did they have actually 9 at-bats with runners in scoring position? Because it didn't seem like it.
Some of those were late in the game, but there weren't very many.
Maybe because did Arkansas ever threat? Did they ever have the tie and run at the plate?
No.
I don't believe.
No.
And so
in a couple of places where they could have got some momentum in the second and the fourth, where they get a leadoff runner on, they got some leadoff guys on. They erase them with the double plays. Those around the horn double plays were huge.
Well, guess what? When you arguably the best fielding team that you've had behind a pitcher like that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're gonna because yes, when you got that double play, you got to make it. You got to make it. You don't want to extend that. And I'm sorry, Root was terrible. Root was all he can't hit people. He can't give the free bases. LSU again makes you pay with just getting on base with either the walk or the hit batsman. How many runs now do they have in the last 3 games that got on a free pass?
And two of them in this game.
And you can't throw strikes in that park in those conditions. You need to get out. I'm sorry.
Well, they did. They did.
Yeah.
Van Horn. It was a move he felt like he had to make, and I don't disagree. But now you've used up Gackle, and that's a big deal. He's the best arm that they've got in that bullpen. He threw 90 pitches. They're not going to be able to bring him back.
But LSU, Charlie, they do. Yes, they're going to have to hit more at some point. Okay, but you don't get these walks and hit Batman if you're getting yourself out at the plate. Not this number.
No,
they're being more
bats.
patient. They're at least letting the opposing pitchers get them out, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, they are.
This is a tough park to hit in, Charlie.
It's a very tough park to hit in. The number of good at bats with runners in scoring position is what saved LSU the last 3 games, because right now the main guys in the lineup really aren't clicking. Fry was terrific in the regional. He's 0 for 13 since. Dickinson is 1 for his last 15 with a bunt single. Jones was 4 for 8 in the super regional, but he was 0 for 5 on Saturday with 5 strikeouts. I do think they put Josh Pearson in. That worked in the super regional. He was 0 for 4 on Saturday, though he had a very important RBI ground out. He really busted it down the line. He beat the wrap. They didn't get the double play that got LSU another run. I suspect you will see Jake Brown today against the right-hander. He's 6 for his last 21, which right now is pretty good. But they are getting terrific performances by Curiel, by Milam, by Stanfield, who's had some really big hits the last couple of weeks. And Luis Hernandez is swinging a terrific bat. He's 10 for his last 24. So you got about half the lineup hitting. I know there's a lot of people want to talk about Braswell. I'm sorry, Braswell, as far as I'm concerned, Braswell stays where he is. He turned, he was on the front end of both of those 5-4-3 double plays. He gloves it great. He puts the throw right on the money. Those are big plays. I know he's 1 for his last 29. But Reeves is 1 for his last 23. I don't have a hot bat to put in his place, and I'm not taking that glove out of the lineup in this park. So I don't honestly. If he goes over 4 again today, I'm sorry, he's right back in the lineup because I don't. If I had somebody hitting behind him, that'd be different, but I don't. So he's in the lineup for me.
There's a lot of area out there, boy.
Yeah. And Stanfield covers a ton of ground out there. Curiel's played a really good left field. So I'm fine with the lineup where it is. I think you'll see Brown for Pearson today, and the rest will stay the same. He may juggle the order a little bit, but I think you'll see the same guys. And you've got everybody ready to go. You got Ianson on full rest, and remember, he went on short rest in the Super Regional. He pitched twice in the Regional. They asked him to come back on 2 days on Monday, which he did. Touch compromised. He was good early. Faded a little bit earlier than he has.
Did he get
on
up at one point
rest.
late in the game? Did he get up to warm up?
I never saw Ianson get up.
There were some reports of that. He went down to the bullpen.
I never saw him get up to warm. It was Shores, Evans.
That was
Cowan.
reported, though.
Okay. Cowan was down there. I don't think Ianson ever got up to throw.
Okay.
Shores threw 10 pitches. Evans threw 13, so they're ready to go. You got everybody today available to you except for Kate Anderson. So that's all you can ask, man. I mean, you're in as good a position as you can possibly ask for with with 16 to be 16s by the time they take the field up. Right, still playing college baseball right now.
Anderson pulled at the right time.
I'm not going to tell you I wasn't a little bit surprised because he had come back after he gave up the homer and got him the next 3 in order. He gave up a single to open the 8th. It was his 100th pitch exactly. I thought they'd stick with him a little bit longer. Johnson decided that was where he was ready to go and make the move. So I'm not going to lie to you and tell you, oh, yeah, that was absolutely the point. I would have pulled him. I thought they would let him go. They didn't. It worked out.
It was, thought about it, but I thought he might go a little longer.
I did too.
Okay. Did you pull Shores at the right time?
I was surprised they took him out.
I wouldn't have pulled him.
I would have put him back out there.
I mean, you got to get one guy on.
Yeah.
To me,
And I wonder.
Don't you think he settled in a little bit deeper into the inning?
Yeah, because the first pitch he threw was to the backstop.
yeah.
So after that,
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's a little surprising, but you got Evans out there, and you got him some work, so he's on that mound for the first time out.
Both
of
those guys one inning pitch, but I mean, listen, 4 hits and 3 left on base.
Yeah.
You play a college baseball game, you have 3 left on base. There ain't a whole lot of opportunities, bro.
No.
That is a low number. That is as low as it gets, man. Tell me a game in Omaha in that park you remember 3 left on base. One run score. The run in the left on base total 4.
I can think of one that might have done that. The 2-1 game in '96 that got him to the final against Florida, maybe.
Hey, the best matchup 2 years ago, Max. Look it up. Wake Forest, LSU. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pitch in Friendly Park, 0-0, and there weren't a whole lot of.
No, one guy got thrown out at the plate on the great play by Morgan.
I know it's 11 innings, but.
Yeah. No, that's the obvious one. I should have thought of that one first.
You had more than 3 hits, and 3 hits in 3 left.
Only two walks for LSU pitching on Saturday. So that was fantastic, man. That was fantastic. Arkansas has not scored less than 2 runs in any game this year.
So you expect Einstein to come back and capture his form?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Einstein and Cooper Williams, by the way, were warming up in the 9th inning.
They were okay. I see. I didn't see that. Okay.
Damn, Charlie.
That's interesting.
It's Saturday night. We'll give you a pass. We know you were feeling good, baby. It's all right.
I was watching very good while I was very close. I was feeling good.
Passing on a report. I'm trying to help out here.
I appreciate it.
Charlie just backed me down to Dikembe. No.
I didn't think he had gotten up to throw, but I was like,
I guess I'll get some of this later when we talk U.S. Open, huh?
I have some thoughts about the U.S. Open. I think you do too, and I know Max does. So we'll save that.
I was taking a break from the hospital over the weekend, man, and came over here. And my buddy Michael Page, I mean, he had guys from Los Angeles and Chicago over here, and we were enjoying the game. Man, they were blown away. They really the amount of screens on and the action. We had college World Series. We had the horses. We had MLB. We had the golf, the U.S. Open. I mean, they had on WNBA. Caitlin Clark. My gosh,
she had a monster game.
Jeez, look, bro, get you some of that MVP action right now. So, and they were just really impressed. A little Baton Rouge, the little Queen here, but I mean, it's just operated and managed. I mean, never a line at the teller. Of course, Buku, a kiosk over here. It's just, I'm a tough customer to please when it comes to working your TVs, and they do an awesome job, man. And when people say, well, man, they're going to have the Astros on? Yes. They're going to premiere? Yes. They're going to have they're going to put on the big screen when they can, but they can break it up into 4s. They can break it up into 6-pack, 12. I mean, they're going to, if it's on and you could bet on it, it's going to be on over here at the Queen.
The DraftKings Sportsbook at the Queen Casino live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the Queen Casino on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Remember, the show is available on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. We'll have a new Handycast up after today's game. That'll be dropping tomorrow. DraftKings Sportsbook here at the Queen. The other side of the bracket, the team in the driver's seat is Coastal Carolina. They beat Arizona on Friday night, 7-4, a game that was tied going to the 8th inning, and Coastal got 3 in the 8th. They came back yesterday and beat Oregon State 6-2, who was favored in the game. Coastal jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the first inning, eventually got that up to 6-1 and kind of cruised home from there. Chanticleers are no fluke. And if you're looking at it thinking a smaller program, whatever, Lord knows we know about Coastal Carolina around here, but this is a team now. We talked about this on the podcast this morning, Jimmy. We don't really pay attention to RPIs after the tournament starts. They're irrelevant. They're a tool that we use to put the field together. But if you did want to look today, they're number 1 in the RPIs.
You know how hard that is for a mid-major.
It's amazing, yeah. Their strength of schedule's in the top 50. They have 11 Q1 wins now. Arkansas and LSU have 16 and 15 respectively. So they're in the ballpark there. They're 55-11. They haven't lost a game since April the 22nd. I mean, it's almost 2 months of baseball that you haven't lost a game. I mean, they've done things that the old Fullerton teams used to do, like going into SEC venues. Auburn hadn't lost 2 in a row at home all year. They go in, they beat them. They get into this World Series. They don't look the slightest bit intimidated. The pitcher of the year in the conference, Jacob Morrison, I'm going to say they held him. They were trying to get him on full rest, and he goes out there, really dominates Oregon State last night. And, you see the tweet this morning. This guy who's 12-0 wasn't on any All-American teams, maybe a little bit of play the disrespect card. We think that gets overplayed sometimes, but maybe not here.
Is his updated ERA under 2?
Probably. I would think. I'd have to look, but it
was right over it, so he only gave up 1 earned run.
Yeah, probably so. Right there at 2.
He didn't have his best stuff. Then he settled down and is 13 in a row.
Yeah, he's a monster.
No, he's he wears his emotions on his sleeve a little bit. Sometimes that could be counterproductive, but he's got this is how many SEC schools have been to the field of 64, the NCAA tournament, the last 15 out of 16 years?
Less than half, for sure.
Considerably less than half.
Oh, wait, didn't we do this?
No, we did that with UTSA going Dallas Baptist, making it consecutive times, like 11 in a row. But, I mean, they are a strong program. And they haven't just been there, but they've got one, and that means something. And then it also says something that this coach waited his turn because he wants this one. That's the only thing, Charlie, that he may like. And then, but it's harder than when Cal State Fullerton did it. See, when Cal State Fullerton was competing or kind of whooping everybody's behind, the SEC's baseball budgets were not what they are now. Okay, sure. They even at the youth level, you didn't have all these indoor cages and things like that. But in Southern California, you could play 365 days a year. That's why they were so clean in the field, and you got a gazillion kids playing baseball. Now, guess what? Anthony Ianson is, from kind of the Orange County area. He goes to UCSD. Boop, they just pluck him out. No, you're going to be on number 2 at LSU. I mean, with maybe the strongest roster, a top 3 roster at least, in college baseball. It's just not that way anymore. So they're doing it when it's harder, and they went and got the guy from the state of Washington. They got this guy from New Jersey. I mean, this guy was pitching where last year? Morrison. I mean, it just.
I have no idea.
This guy hustles.
Oh, yeah, he
did,
no doubt.
So, you want to whine about the new landscape of college athletics, or you want to get out and hustle? You don't think the guy at Murray State lost a lot from last year. Yeah. He hustles. And, there's some coaches that are going to embrace it, and there's some coaches going to whine and struggle. And it's all sports. And this is unbelievable that they got 10, 11 pitchers of this caliber. And that's a hitting-friendly park in Conway. I mean, I'm not totally sure that he just didn't want to come back 6 days later. So he pitches a Saturday game in Auburn. It was game 2, the clincher. Yes. I'm not so sure that Oregon State's going to be tougher than Arizona. Arizona is going to be weaker than whoever wins the first game with Oregon State.
Right.
And he shoved it down their throat.
Yeah, I think that they wanted to keep – I look back at their May schedule. They had a couple of series that started on Thursdays. They did not back him up to Thursday. They left him on Friday.
So he pitched game Friday no matter what, if it was game 1 or game 2 of the weekend series.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So they kept him on that. And then when he pitched the Saturday – now they did hold him in the game, first game of the regional to pitch against Auburn in game 2. And then they kept him on Saturday for the Super.
Because he only pitched on Friday, Charlie. In the regional.
No, he pitched on Saturday.
He pitched game 2, the Marvel game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so they kept him on Saturday for the next week, and then they kept him on Saturday or to Sunday, actually got the extra day. He's he's from Michigan. He was at Coastal at Coastal last year.
But he's from Michigan.
He's from Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah. Picked Coastal over Big Ten and MAC schools. He's 6'8".
I mean, somewhere somebody's – and you know what? Somebody's hustling a little budget. Yeah. You know, that this coach is he can recruit in the state of Washington, Michigan, and New Jersey.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you can just pick a few that, maybe the majors have glossed over. And another thing that I've heard time and time again is for these teams like this and Murray State, if you can hold some of your guys together and get old, okay? The Arkansas and LSUs, they're never going to get really old, or it's rare where they're going to have 5 or 6 seniors or something like that. The Murray States of the world have a chance to do that in a certain situation.
What I can't understand is how Tennessee, LSU, Arkansas aren't getting kids out of the Coastal. How are they keeping them there?
I don't know. I don't have. Okay, this Morrison kid he's got a year left. All right. You think he's going back to Coastal, or you think he's going to the SEC or the ACC?
They gave softball one pitcher can have impact.
Bring you
a team way more than a one pitcher.
And
can.
Texas Tech has one monster donor. I got his name written down somewhere.
Schloss has got to have some guys excited about his program in Texas.
Yeah.
You're
going to go. What's he worth? What would he be worth to an SEC team?
I mean, $1
million.
He's worth.
I don't know.
I don't know where they give Ianson.
I really don't know.
Okay, this is similar, if more so.
Yeah.
He's more proven than Ianson was coming in from UCSD.
Yeah, he's likely to pitch in. Don't you think they're going to make the championship series? I mean, I don't think Oregon State's going to come through there.
Yes.
So this guy's going to pitch in a championship series. Ianson didn't have that coming here. I mean, when do you go pluck somebody off of a championship series? I don't know if he's going to stay.
Ianson was struggling because, right down to maybe a mile from campus at UCSD, they got the launch point where you go to the parasailing and stuff. Uh-huh. So maybe, I don't know, maybe they didn't have that in Baton Rouge, so they may have to pay him a little extra money.
Well, can we put one of those in? We're big on facilities around here, right? Coastal waiting on the other side. Oregon State and Louisville going to play to stay alive.
Have you seen as big of a spread as this? 4.5 run spread in Omaha.
No,
that's a lot.
No, I certainly not in a second round game.
But we knew this. Well, this is the loser. LSU Arkansas versus Murray State is going to be
a big number. I was thinking about the year that was at Cal Santa Barbara made it, but in a first game, not in a
4-1-1 to the unders as we talk about. A lot. It's under a pass. Although I think the first game should have gone under. It went over, and I think that evened out when Michigan UCLA should have gone over, and it went under. I mean, UCLA had steady traffic against Murray State.
Yeah, and that nice little wedge shot that went down the line that got it to 11 in the afternoon game yesterday. Little bloop just kind of buried itself.
That was a
right
tough
inside
push
the line.
if you had the under. What was it going into the bottom of the eighth?
They scored 6 runs.
4-2 or 3-1?
Let's see. It was 5 runs, so I forgot exactly. But, yeah, they scored 6 runs in the bottom of the 8th and left 2 runners on base. So you almost lost it outright. One more hit and you're going to lose it outright.
Oh, so it was 3-2 going into the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah.
They finished 8-3. Is that the final?
Yep.
Okay. Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings, 296-0060. Full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional service is what you do when you call 296-0060. Our great team at Legacy Title, Ashley Bonham-Donald, Mariana Broussard Haynes, Adrian Reescalata, Michael Platt, Natalie Smith, and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds in Legacy Title 296-0060.
Live at the Queen, live at lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the Queen Casino on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We're also brought to you by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, helping you deal with pain. Dr. Michael Goff and his staff, man, they've done a terrific job for our family over the years. Neck pain, back pain, muscle soreness, things that are keeping you from getting around like you'd like or maybe costing you a good night's sleep. Let them help you out and target those problem areas, get you adjusted, maybe get you into an exercise and stretching program, or if you need to get a dry needle or electric nerve stimulation, cryo, or ultrasound therapy, that'll do the trick. They'll get you to feeling better. Airline Highway, Plank Road, Jefferson Highway near Drusilla. Dr. Michael Goff, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. You might have pulled a muscle trying to hit the ball out of the water yesterday. Oh, wait, there's no water at Oakmont unless it pours down raining all day and you got to have guys hitting. Look, Max, Jimmy, you and I, we had a little spirited text exchange yesterday. We didn't think that this was particularly entertaining to watch. Now, my problem is not with the golf course at all, okay? We did previews. We did Thursday show. We did Friday show. I had no problem with the course. I know it's hard. It's supposed to be hard. It's the U.S. Open. I got no problem with par winning or one guy goes under. I got no problem with that. I did think that at some point they should have stopped play yesterday again. And look, nobody wants to wait till Monday to finish this thing, but when you got the best players in the world reduced to what they were forced to play in yesterday, and I'm going to let you tackle when they made Burns play out of that wishing well at 15. I just didn't think it was particularly fair to the players to make them play in those conditions on that course and have what was an entertaining I know other people feel differently. They're like, it ought to be hard. We ought to embarrass these guys. I didn't enjoy watching it yesterday afternoon and on the back nine in those conditions. That's me.
Well, Jimmy, Charlie, I can't make y'all like something. You know, I don't like ketchup. Y'all can't tell me that I'm wrong on that. A lot of people would disagree with me that ketchup is great, but I don't particularly like it. So I can't tell you that you should like it. But I'll just tell you all are in the minority on this. Like, most golf fans appreciated yesterday.
And I'm not a guy that's got to see 21 under win every week either.
The players being challenged, and even par, it's relative, right? Whatever the score to par is, you could manipulate it. You can make it a par 72. They would have shot 8 under, whatever. Par is kind of irrelevant, but these guys get pampered all the time on the PGA Tour. The bunkers are made perfectly to where all the balls fall to the center of the bunkers, and they can still reach the green. What's the point of watching the best tour players in the world? If they hit a bad shot, they have a one-arm finish, and they're able to find their ball in a perfectly fine lie in the rough, advance it to 20 feet, and make par. There's nothing entertaining about that to me, because we see that every week on the PGA Tour where there's just no challenges. Was it wet out there? Yes, it was. Should Sam Burns have gotten a drop? I know they changed that rule a little bit. The language is now temporary water. And
standing water.
Well, it used to be standing water. Now it's temporary water. And so they've kind of changed the language around that rule. 2 officials gave him, no, you don't get a relief from this. I thought it was unfair. If anyone asked me for that in the tournament, I would have immediately granted them relief, because that's just, you don't hit out of a puddle. I thought that was egregious.
He's doing his practice swings, and he's splashing left and right. And look, we've seen some ridiculous rulings in favor of the golfer to where, like, well, how do you – I mean, no, that's a bad shot. So, no, the inconsistency, and it's almost like, oh, no, this week it's going to be – we're just making it hard on y'all. This week we're going to make it tough. It's like watching Iowa football in bad conditions. I mean, offense. I mean, it was just – I mean, the course is tough enough. And that's fine. But – and you're going to be penalized if you hit it. But then these conditions, I mean, and everybody, nobody can make a shot. I mean, it was terrible. And
nobody could.
Yeah, the golf enthusiasts like yourself are all into it. You don't count. Like Charlie tells me,
I think most
I've been waiting to use that for a long time. You don't count because you're in no matter what. You watch live. So you go watch the damn
It was better.
Major.
It was better.
So if you want to throw that, we're not in the majority, that's fine. I put on Golf Channel last night. Well, that's their industry. They're pumping it. Oh, this was great. That's not, man. Kiss my ass,
Most
man. That was
sports fans,
terrible.
Most sports fans liked it.
No, not most sports fans.
I
no,
think
no,
so.
no, no, no,
Look
no,
on Twitter.
no,
Look
no,
anywhere
no,
else.
No, that was a joke, man. That was watching the NFC South Open.
Jimmy,
I
nobody could play well except J.J. Spawn shot 3 under when the rain started. So I guess he could play.
And guess what? And guess what? Guess what? They also have on the sports channels out there. J.J. Spawn hits it to win it. Like that was it. He had another shot.
Okay, give him 2 under.
Come on, man.
Let's say he just made par there. He's still 2 under on that stretch. It was manageable.
No, he did it. Okay, one guy did it. He's able to do it. All right, and he had unbelievably bad luck to start out.
Correct.
I mean, he didn't hit it on the fly, the flagpole. It was bouncing. He still went back.
Probably a birdie putt. He makes
75 yards.
So he got a bad break there. Golf is not fair. The Open Championship in a month's time is very much based on wind and rain, and that happens.
Play it on an island.
You're gonna watch.
But a lot of people
watch
like
all
that,
golf,
Jimmy.
no matter what.
It's not just me.
But
a lot of people like the Open.
I mean, if you want to call us casual fans, peripheral fans, and the fans, whether you get the good ratings or not, I mean, Charlie's been telling me forever. Charlie, does this apply to Max?
A little bit, yeah, because he's gonna
watch no matter what.
And again, I don't have a problem with the course. Okay, the rough is what it is. The bunkers were there. I got no problem. I know how the U.S. Open plays. I thought the conditions yesterday warranted stopping. Now look, I live somewhere where if it sprinkles in New Mexico, we can't play baseball for a day. But I wanted the play stopped yesterday. Now you made a good point in the pre-show. You said if they'd have stopped it and come back yesterday, they'd be playing in the mud.
They'd be mud balls.
That's a reasonable.
It would have been way worse. Yeah. They were complaining about the entire PGA Championship was mud balls. That was unfair.
I don't know what's the best. Call it, don't call it, delay it, come back one. I don't know. I'm not crazy. I'm just knowing what I saw. It's not something that it just wasn't good to me. It wasn't entertaining to see just a clump of mediocrity. No, a clump of failure. Just go in and just right. Burns got nobody to blame but himself. Okay? Burns lost this thing on his own way before that pitiful ruling. The ruling was bad, but he was, whether it's the pressure or whether he's just bad, whenever, he was playing very poorly.
He was
very poorly.
He goes to 11. He's got a 2-shot lead. And from there, he played the last 8 and 6 over to go back to 7th. What did you think of the ruling? We covered that. The rest of what he did, what did you think?
Well, it was just since the restart. When they delayed, he was not the same. Now, he hit a great drive on 8. Remember, he hit driver on a par 3. But, it was pretty good. It was just off the green, and he got up and down. But 9, he hits it left into the junk, which he'd done on Friday and able to scramble par. He was able to get it out of there, but that's really when it started. His swing, his game was not the same after the delay. It was an hour and a half, 2-hour delay, and he wasn't the same. Maybe he got ice.
Where was he at on the delay? He was at even par?
No, he was still under. He was. I think he was 2 under.
He was well under par at that point. I think.
Well, he started the round 4 under.
He was 2 under, I believe, when they stopped.
He was 2 under through 7 holes, and that's when they stopped play. So he actually had, I think, a 3-shot lead at that point.
2 over.
It might have been
playing good at that point.
The course was playing hard, but he was behind schedule, I would say. But the back 9 was supposed to play a little easier. Unfortunately, with the weather,
what was his over under yesterday? Before the round started,
I didn't see one.
If he's 2 over through 7, he's on pace to finish 5 over. It's on pace.
But the back 9 does play easier.
No, yeah, but yeah, he could. No, he played bad. He played bad, man. I mean,
I would just say that the last 2 or 3 groups were over par at that stanza as well. They were all kind of over par at that point. The only player who really got off to a great start was Cam Young. He kind of vaulted himself in contention. The broadcast was terrible. I think the broadcast is another reason why this wasn't very entertaining. They didn't do a very great job of explaining things. They're showing you 80-yard hackouts when you don't need to see that. They're showing you 2-foot putts that are already going to be made.
And they were begging Scotty Scheffler to make 1 putt.
They were doing that.
He's 6-7 strokes off the lead, and they're like, "Oh, but he's right there."
Well, they're trying to tell you John Rahm in the playoff in the clubhouse at 4 over had a chance. He never had a chance. There was never a consideration, but they're trying to tell you that. So that was a poor part of this as well. But Jimmy, look, if you want perfect conditions, I guess you can watch the TGL every week in indoor.
I want some balance. I don't like 32 under.
Right, I don't.
No, but I'd much rather I mean, that was hey, man, I thought it sucked.
This did bring,
I watch a lot of golf.
I'll give you one thing. This did bring a lot of players back into contention, okay? McIntyre and Hovland and Young and Hatton and Ortiz all had a chance because the leaders were coming back to the pack.
Absolutely.
But what ruined it for me was I never watched any of those guys go to the tee after the rain delay and think that they had any chance of making a birdie. I really –
Except Spawn had 3 birdies.
Spawn had So give him
birdies
credit.
were out there. Spawn made 15 birdies this week. A lot of guys made 15, 16 birdies. If you hit the ball in the fairway, you were rewarded. It was not penalized unless you were Sam Burns on 15 where you had a puddle. Other than that, if you hit in the fairway, the answers to the test were pretty clear. Hit the ball in the fairway, hit it on the green, and make the putt. It's not that complicated. Every week they can just spray it and hit it in the rough, and they don't have to worry about it.
I was kind of going into this one, and I was kind of warming up to the tough conditions. But when the weather, it would just I don't. That doesn't fire me up. We going into the last game of the regular season, and all the Panthers, the Falcons, the Bucks, and the Saints are all 8-8.
Robert?
Yes, NFC South is on the line, and man, who's going to win it? No,
well, the
doesn't
NFC
do it
South
for
is
me,
just a division. I mean, Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, they were playing yesterday. They were playing in the rain too, so it wasn't like it was just a mediocre competition. Robert McIntyre shot 2 under on the back nine. He vaulted himself in the mix just because it wasn't Scotty Scheffler and John Rahm.
So let me
in the
jog
mix.
your memory. What did you say last week? There's only so many guys that can win this.
I was
you
wrong
have to
on
be
that. I was dead wrong on that.
So the conditions allowed a guy like J.J. Spawn to win it.
I was wrong on that before round 4. Look at the leaderboard going into the final round. I was dead wrong. I mean, on the leaderboard going into Sunday, it was Spawn, it was Hovland. Hovland was the exception to the rule, but Burns, I wouldn't have probably thrown him in that top 10. Hovland would have been right there on the perimeter.
Burns has recaptured form now, too.
He
wasn't a super surprise that he was playing
Not shocking, but he had he had competed in one major where he really contended. That was last year the Open.
Never,
he shot
never,
80.
never competed. Never was.
He was. I was wrong on that. I thought that too. He was tied for second going into the final round of the Open last year and shot 80. So he was in the mix going into Sunday last year and just blew it.
I do want to give Spawn credit, obviously, for winning this thing and how he played on the back nine after the rain delay. But he bogeyed 5 of the first 6 holes. And at that point, he's how many shots off the lead?
He got to about four shots back.
It is very easy for that thing to spiral out of control at that point. He kept it together mentally. Maybe the rain delay helped him.
U.S. Open, you have to be composed.
Well,
you have to be able to hang in there.
That was pretty strong to come out and put 5 bogeys in 6 holes and keep your head together. You think you still got a shot to win this?
So
thing.
say in football, okay. Who wants does the team that's a favorite or the underdog, do they want the conditions to be favored? You mean just kind of not like thunderstorms and everything?
The favorite wants better.
The favorite wants the conditions better.
Because if everything's equal, the favorite's better team.
I just thought it was kind of I'm trying to analogize this, and you allowed an underdog to kind of come in and steal it. That's the way I saw it. He played so much better than everybody, the conditions. But damn, that's just.
So if J.J. Spawn with Scotty Scheffler would have been great yesterday? Is that what changes it?
No, my problem was the conditions, not the course. Not the course and not J.J. Spawn for me. It was the weather. It was the weather. I would have stopped this thing.
They've had a bunch of great quality winners for a few years now, and they finally had an underdog win. It happens. But I would just say there are plenty of iconic wins in playoff history and other sports that we think about because the fourth quarters were great. And there was a lot of bad play. There are plenty of majors over the years where there's bad play down the stretch. This time there was, but it was a weather-induced short.
Don't forget our friends over at Los Reyes Mexican Grill on Lee, just off of Nicholson, across from Mike Anderson's. Again, traditional Mexican food, and don't get that sticker shock when you get your bill. Again, tacos, burritos, enchiladas, you name it, man. Quality stuff, clean, fresh. The fresh guacamole is outstanding. Happy hour is every day. It's 4-hour happy hour, 2:30 to 6:30, 7 days a week. Los Reyes Mexican Grill on Lee, across from Mike Anderson's, just off of Nicholson.
Live at the Queen, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the Queen Casino on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Here at the DraftKings Sportsbook. We're a little over an hour away from the first game today at the College World Series. And, Max, so we got a wind update. The wind is blowing in pretty good.
Yeah, 13 to 15 miles per hour much of the day in from right field, so it's going to be hard to hit anything out over there.
That's
sure.
That's harder than either Saturday or Sunday, right?
Yes, it's the hardest it's been all week. We might see some storms late in the game today. Hopefully we avoid the electricity, as they called it at the U.S. Open all week, so we'll see about that.
Yeah, okay. So wind blowing in, Arkansas and Murray State here in just a little over an hour. And we're back for hour number 2 here at the Queen, the DraftKings Sportsbook, live at lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the Queen Casino on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And a return here at the DraftKings Sportsbook at the Queen about an hour before Game 1 of the College World Series today.
Under, but not this Murray State team. They are an over team to me, so I thought that their game against UCLA that did go under should have gone over. So, and Shutt is their best that they have, and they hit him around pretty good. Arkansas could put up a big number today. They're the visiting team as well, so they will have their all 9 frames to at bat, and so this one could get really ugly today.
They had a great stat. They only had 31 at bats. Somebody sent me this on Twitter. Only 31 at bats against LSU in the whole game. So I mean that that offense, which has not had only 1 run scored all year. I mean, they have scored a minimum of 2 runs in every game this year until Saturday. That was Anderson. I expect those Hogbats to be big today.
All right, let's talk some NBA. And was the championship decided on Friday night? Rare Friday night. Kind of an issue. Game 5 is tonight. We're down to the best of 3 series for the NBA Finals, but everybody looks like they're trying to crown the champions. And 1 point scored by the Indiana Pacers the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Henry Hayes joins us now. Henry, your thoughts on Game 4, first of all, on Friday night?
I was told I was coming on to talk Shohei Ohtani pitching.
Oh, man.
He's taking him out tonight, Jimmy.
I understand. I know that. Okay. I mean, it's a non-salary cap league. Do you really want to? It's like LSU flexing against Little Rock. I mean, come on.
How do you feel about rain on a golf course?
Yes.
No, look, a couple of things, Jimmy. I think you and Charlie nailed it. I think it was late last week when you said, "Look, Game 4 is the series," and I've stuck with the Thunder since the beginning of the playoffs. You guys know this, and I think the deeper you go in a series like this, a guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander finds his game. That's why they could not stop him in that fourth quarter at Indiana. And they're just the better team. And so, like, Jalen Williams, like, the way he's playing, where they're really tough to stop. And then if OKC just plays a little bit of that defense that we've seen them play in the playoffs, I just don't think Indiana has enough. I mean, Halliburton's got to play at his best, and they've got to get – their margin for error is so much slimmer than OKC's. And like I said, I mean, SGA was only going to be stopped so much, and I think that's what you saw in Game 4.
You don't think a guy like, help me out, the stretch 4 for Indiana, I'm drawing a blank, though, but Turner? He was, Miles Turner. Man, he's not that bad, usually. I mean, Henry, Indiana could have won the game. I mean, what if they call an offensive foul on SGA? When he creates separation and does extend his arm to do so. What if they call a travel? I mean, what if they score more than 1 point the last 320? To me, it was a role reversal. Indiana has been so good in the clutch in these close games, and Oklahoma City, they've been tight, and it was just flipped. Oklahoma City made all the plays. Indiana made none in that last 3 minutes of the game.
Yeah, look, and Jimmy, if you're the Pacers, that's exactly what you want. You have it in your building where those people are rabid fans, and they know what's at stake, and they just couldn't get it done. And you got to credit the Thunder with a combination of defense. And look, they know exactly where they're going. You could argue that SGA is probably the best closer in the league right now in that kind of scenario. If you try to double them, they're going to make you pay. Any one-on-one mismatch is a mismatch. And, does he push off? Yes, he does. But he's the MVP, and MVPs get those calls. And That's nothing new. So, that's why you got to tip your hat to the Thunder again to close out a 12-1 run, not getting nervous, not throwing up on themselves. They did it, and now they're headed home, and all the chips are in their favor.
Well, I know you say you just expected, and you never thought that Indiana had a chance. They had a real chance, and I mean, it's going to be hard now, but they could have easily finished out and go 3-1. There's some Carlisle's been really good. He has been stronger on the bench for most of the series, but there's a couple of things he did. I'm just kind of wondering. First of all, maybe it's because they played growing up, in Canada, but Nembhard is way less intimidated defending SGA than Neesmith. Why did he's been more effective against SGA. Why did they go to Neesmith down the stretch?
Yeah, I think what they've tried to do, Jimmy, is throw multiple bodies at him quickly to try to some sort of rhythm. You're not going to stop him, but if they can just give him a speed bump. So I think as many bodies in kind of a cadence as possible, that's been the plan. Because I think their thinking is if you let SGA lock in on a defender's tendencies, he's going to win. And they're probably right. Again, this is one of those things where you're not going to stop this guy. You just hope that you make him shoot maybe in the mid-30s, low 30s maybe. And maybe he is prone to turn it over every now and then. But I think he smells blood in the water. To your point, these guys go way back in Canada. So there's nothing new here. I just think that. So
you agree? You're fine with it. You don't think it was a big deal?
No, I don't, because I don't think any one of them is way better than the other.
Okay.
Personally, I would hard hedge and I would get the ball out of his hands. That's my personal opinion.
I don't have the advanced stats, but it sure looked like Nembhard was creating more resistance than Neesmith. All right, the other one down the stretch. Well, how do you only score 1 point? Okay, an 89% free throw shooter goes 1 for 4. Okay, that's unusual. All right. He also has 2 dead ball technical fouls on foul away from the ball before the inbounds pass, which, of course, SGA hit both of those. But the inviting on a switch, inviting Chet Holmgren to defend you near the top of the key / 3-point area up front. The dude's pretty damn long and pretty damn agile. I mean, that is a terrible matchup for Indiana to invite Holmgren on them. You're going to have him. He's going to be really tough to shoot over, and he's going to be really tough to finish. He's so damn long. What was that all about?
Yeah, you're right, Jimmy. I can't argue with anything you just said. The most frustrating was what you said at the top of it. You cannot commit off-ball fouls, which means they get a shot and the ball back. It's kind of like holding, which I know Charlie is fond of saying, happens every play in the NFL and college football. It just depends on when the umpire wants to call holding. Well, grabbing on an inbound, same thing. I mean, guys have hands in jerseys and on shorts and, arms, but if you're the Pacers, you can't get caught. Not there. It's just, and they did it twice. And there's just that can't happen because, again, they get it one shot and the ball back. So they can't play that way and beat this team.
I tell you what, the handicappers that come on this show, it's either they're definitely involved in live, middle hedging, and some and half don't. But if you're going to watch that thing unravel in front of you and cover for 47 minutes and 53 seconds and lose it, I mean, you're inviting mental anguish. I mean, I'm sorry. Use the club in your bag. It just that was unbelievable. The only time they're covering was for 7 seconds to end the game. But you don't think Indiana can be competitive tonight?
I think they can, Jimmy. I just think that the Thunder are going to smell blood in the water. They have them back in their building. Look, and the other thing is this. I think Max might have said this last week. Chet really hasn't played well yet. Defensively, he's fine, but offensively, I'm waiting for a Chet. In fact, tonight might be the Chet Holmgren game because it's only a matter of time. I mean, Williams is going to be Williams. SGA is going to be himself. But, boy, if they get a good game from Chet, look out. And I think, to your point about guys like Turner, Jimmy, and I don't know. Can they all keep playing that well. I just doubt it. So Indiana's not going to quit, but they're not as good. They just don't have the pieces. And now I do expect if I was making a play tonight, I really like the Pacers to cover the first half because they're going to throw everything they have at the Thunder. So
all right, Max, when Toppin back-to-back threes and they go up 8, what are you thinking?
Put a man on him.
What do you think about? I mean, I could tell you what. Live betting, Indiana was favored at that point.
Indiana was favored in the series, just ever so slightly.
Oh, okay. So it was basically they were a slight favorite to win the series at that time.
The highest I saw on the Thunder, it was the first time they've been a dog the whole series. They were plus 105, the Thunder, to win the series, and that was about at that point. 8 down 8 with 10 minutes to go or something like that, and then the Thunder made their.
And it got as much to 10, but. Henry, the Jalen Williams, I mean, one's from Arkansas. He's sitting on the bench he's getting no playing time in this series, it seems like. But that guy, no, he kept them within range, man, if you ask me. When it was toughest for them, he's shooting some high percentage shots in. He's got some pretty good, strong IQ. I thought he was real big for them on Friday night.
Oh, without a doubt, Jimmy. And I tell you what, boy, it's fun to see a guy like that literally before your eyes just kind of grow because confidence, he is not afraid. I mean, it's almost like what and what in terms of SGA turns and then Jalen turns. I mean, that handle at his size, he is a problem. And I think that 1-2 punch is going to be around for a long time because you can't do anything with him, especially when he's confident. But, Jimmy, it's interesting. We've talked about on the show here this small market, NBA Finals, and the numbers reflect that. But boy, I tell you, the Bane trade almost trumps talk of the game this evening. So, when a Grizzly gets traded to the Magic for 4 first-rounders, it's a bit of a problem.
I wanted to ask because, look, full disclosure here, I haven't watched the NBA All-Star Game in 30 years. I don't like All-Star games in general, but certainly Desmond Bane must be in that event every year if he's being traded for 4 unprotected first-round picks. I don't.
4 unprotected?
4 unprotected, plus 2 players, but 4 unprotected picks in the first round.
Oh. They throw Rafael Devers in a deal too?
No, nobody wanted to take that contract.
I mean, $31 million. I'm not playing DH.
Yeah, I don't Henry, what did I mean? This one to me was even more exciting. I thought it was crazy when Rudy Gobert got traded for that, and even crazier when Mikal Bridges got traded for that. Desmond Bane's a nice player, but 4 unprotected ones and 2 players. What am I missing here?
Not much, Charlie. It's 2 things. Number one, you go immediately back to Nico Harrison, who should be running for cover. Because if Desmond Bane gets 4 number ones, what is Luka Doncic's worth?
Yes.
They didn't get 1, not 1. And number 2, it tells you that the Grizzlies are probably tearing it down. So if Desmond Bane gets 4 ones, what's Jaren Jackson worth? 8? And I mean, I could say the Lakers should be, whether it's Austin Reeves or whatever else package, because they need a big, and he is very good. So obviously they're tearing it down. But Jimmy, one second, back to Jalen Williams. Fun local note about him. Remember, he's from Santa Clara, and he played with our very own Carlos Stewart from the Dunham School before Stewart transferred to LSU and then back to Santa Clara. That was his teammate, along with Podziemski, who plays for the Warriors. So pretty good little team there up in Santa Clara.
No, they weren't. And Podziemski was, he and Stewart were the kind of the stars with the backcourt. Bruce Marshall saw him play, a few times and told me, so they were they were a good team. There's no doubt about that. So Henry, say David Stearns at NBA. This thing's going 7?
I don't think so. I think if I had to bet it, I'd bet the Thunder are going to close them out 2-0. But because look, the refs have been very pro OKC, Jimmy. Anybody will complain about that in the league, and SGA does get called. I'm not saying he doesn't. I don't expect that to change. And like I said, I think this team has its head on right, and they know that they're going to end them now, and it starts game 5. So I think it's 6.
You know what I take from this weekend? Whether you want to hedge, middle, a bad beat, the whole thing, SGA would not be hitting out a puddle in fairway. I promise you that. He would not be hitting out a puddle. Huh?
Indoor sports. There's no variance there. I tell you what, Nico Harrison, he's not in trouble. He knew he was getting the number 1 overall pick. That's what everyone tells me. They knew that Dallas was getting rewarded with the number 1 overall pick.
Oh, boy. Because the Lakers are going to give it, so who knows with Silver running the show. So, anyway, that's a shame that it's not getting the ratings because it's been good. And look, Indiana, if Indiana were the damn Knicks, the level of exciting, I think it's a highly entertaining style of basketball. They've been, tell me somebody who's hit more game-winning shots than Halliburton over their career, much less one postseason. You have so much, but you're not the NFL where the Packers can draw great ratings, or the Steelers. It's a shame because, man, I think it's been a fun, unpredictable, balanced, I think it's been a really good postseason for the most part. You've had some blowouts, but the unpredictability of it has been really fun.
Yeah, my son made a good point. We were watching Game 4, Jimmy. Said that the Pacers are kind of the Detroit Tigers of the NBA, meaning, Detroit's got this funky, they really rely on their bullpen. They want to get to the end of the bullpen as soon as possible. They're starting pitching good, not great, which is such a different way to play in the MLB. Well, the Pacers are the same, right? Like, we go back to the 12-1 run, and they got closed out. You know where the shots are coming from on the Thunder. It's the SGA. Celtics, it's Tatum and Brown. Like, in other words, that's a very different way they play, which is to say they're going to continue to move it quickly, and they trust all of their guys. But you could argue that's not the best way to close out an NBA playoff game, and it got them this time. So kind of the Detroit Tigers of the NBA.
I'll tell you what, though. Let me say this, okay? All right. All of the power numbers have been placed because of the 68 wins, the regular season, and also OKC was so good against the spread. But since January, Indiana is the second best, the most successful team. And who has played more playoff games than the Pacers the last 2 postseasons combined? Nobody. And we all know it's a different sport in the postseason. So, and look, when they post the odds, and they're already out, you see the odds to win it the whole thing next year? Pacers are top 3. They're top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think that part of it is OKC is, man, forget that 68 wins during the regular season. I see Houston grinding during the regular season. Their seeding didn't translate to the postseason. We've seen the Hawks in the past. We've seen gaudy regular seasons. I understand they're talented, but playing defense in the regular season, playing defense, in the postseason, well, everybody's playing defense now. So I think that they're a little bit overvalued, and I think they were very fortunate on Friday night because they're down 3-1. They're probably done. So and it was sketchy for some time. I thought they had him. So here's top. You don't know if it's going to be Mathurin one night. You don't know if it's Nembhard, Miles Turner. It looked like Obi Toppin's night where he was going to hit the big shots that was going to put him away. But give Oklahoma City credit. They were up against it and they found a way to come back. So getting calls or not.
And Jimmy, last thing, let's get a Charlie Hannegriff special. Now that the Grizzlies are tearing it down, let's bring Ja to New Orleans and have the Ja Zion show. What could be better?
I'm not convinced that they're completely tearing it down. They're not going to trade Jaren Jackson, and they're not, at least for the moment, going to trade John Morant. They got the same problem that the Pelicans have. You can't get fair market value for John Morant right now because you don't know. He's one slip up away from a half a season suspension or more. They're going to do the same thing the Pelicans are doing. They're going to keep their 1 or 2 stars, and they're going to pray that the number 1 guy for them, Morant, and for the Pelicans, Williamson, actually shows up and acts like a pro. It's different stuff for Morant. It's the off the court stuff, and for Williamson, it's, hey, can you show up on time and be in shape? But that's what those two franchises are praying that they have. They don't have any other choices. They can't get fair market value for those stars right now.
That's correct. And you admit, Charlie, that would be must see Netflix 10-episode TV. Zion.
Yeah,
job.
yeah. Oh, yeah, sure. Well, everybody. There's a lot of things on television to get good ratings that are difficult to watch. So let's just say, it like that. Thanks, Henry.
They're packaging the fairgrounds with Zion right now, so I don't know.
Put it all together.
Thank you, Henry. Don't forget our friends at Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown. You're a law firm for a lifetime. Personal injury, criminal defense, DUI, DWI, just general traffic tickets. That's right. I mean, or you can't get a traffic ticket, we can handle that. Estate planning, wills, all this power of attorney, you name it, we can handle it all. For instance, I got a girl pulled in front of me, ran off the road, totaled the car. All right, I'm banged up pretty good. Oh, well, we're dealing with the insurance company. We're going to schedule your doctor's appointments. We're going to schedule with the chiropractor, do all these things because you get so many things you don't know what to do. They know what to do. They have relationships built up with a lot of these folks and going to make it just so much, just reduce, make it as pain-free as possible. It's already a pain. There's no doubt. You don't want to be just bothered anymore with it. That's where Dana Brown, the law offices of O.C. Brown, come in. 343-1111 and ocbrown.com.
Live at the Queen, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the Queen Casino on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we return here at the Queen live at lunch. LSU and UCLA tonight at 6 o'clock. It's going to be Landon Stump going for UCLA. It's only part of the story, though. Stump is part of a UCLA staff that mostly are, I would say, openers plus. In his last three starts, he's gone a total of 8 1/3 innings and hasn't gone longer than 4 innings in any of those outings. 72 pitches against Texas San Antonio, 52 against Arizona State, 45 against Nebraska. The bullpen, UCLA leans on their bullpen more than anybody in this tournament. In the regional round, boy, this is it's a really odd stat. In the regional round, the bullpen got 49 outs, the starters got 32. So, I mean, you're talking about a heavy, heavy reliance on the bullpen. It is a good bullpen. It is a deep bullpen, and they've got a terrific freshman closer in Easton Hawk, he's got 8 saves, and he's struck out 30 in 23 1/3 innings. He's one of the few guys that strikes out a bunch of people. For instance, Stump only has 62 strikeouts in 73 innings on the season. They're not a big swing and miss team. They get a lot of balls put in play. Here's where the defense comes in. We talked about how good LSU's defense is all year, 982. Basically, UCLA feels at the same
California.
Same
That's historically the case for the California teams since they can go, and take balls, to 365 days a year.
So
and the other thing, Charlie, the couple of things, the clinching game against Texas San Antonio, who we respect a lot. Okay. It was 2-0 till the 8th, but it was a 5-pitcher combined shutout, and so he went 4 innings. So he's got a shutout going. They're winning 2-0. They pull him, so that's part of their plan. They overdo it, but they've done it a lot. To your point, where you bring up the long-term statistics, UCLA is also one of just 2 teams that can say they ain't lost a game in the postseason. So we know the one that's on the 25-game winning streak. It might be 26 now. I lose track with Coastal. But, no, they haven't lost one, and they're the only one. I think this line is a little high. Actually, too high. Yeah. Too high. I expect a good game. Yes, Ianson has an advantage over their starter, but Ianson is expected to do more than your boy for what's his name again?
Landon
Stump. Yeah. And so they're kind of alike a little bit. LSU's just a little bit more talented and everything, but they don't have more talented than that big lefty. That guy can rake, man.
Yeah.
Probably supposed to be the number 1 draft prospect next year's draft.
Rock Chalowski is is absolutely the favorite to be the number 1 pick in next year's draft. Just a sophomore, but you're right. He's got a monster bat. 23 home runs on the season, hitting over 370. He's
you know what he looks like too? He looks like the big lefty that's now with the A's, who's doing really pretty good. The Brandon Kurtz that was with Wake Forest. Just the feel, and the ultimate compliment when the park doesn't look too big for him.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, he's like a Caglione or something.
490
he's a big guy.
490 on base percentage. I mean, that's ridiculous for the season. 1223 OPS.
Hey, look, real simple. Don't let him beat you.
Yeah,
because he sticks out in this lineup.
It's pattern 3 pitching to him. I mean, I don't care who's on base.
One more thing that we factor in. Where so many of the parks, especially in the SEC, play so much smaller than Charles Schwab, Jackie Robinson Stadium, and you've been there, plays big. As big as any on-campus stadium. And so, it favors their pitching numbers a little bit more. So
the other thing maybe I've been waiting for this. I'm sorry, but I just think that today at what point does Fry or Jones or Dickinson run into one? They and maybe it's a double to the gap and not over the fence, but these 3 guys are too good of hitters to have slumped for this long. We went through these at the beginning of the day. Fry's 0 for his last 13. Dickinson's 1 for his last 15. Jones was good in the second game of the Super Regional, so he was 4 for 8 coming in, but he was 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts. Looking at the pitching matchup, boy, it was tough for him. He could not handle that slider, but you got to feel like today the day that one or two of those guys goes out there and gives you a 2 for 4 or a 2 for 5 with a couple of extra base hits. If
it'd be big, but this is not the staff that you
no, this
snap
is a
out
great
of
staff.
it.
No, you're right.
This is not the staff for the park that's going to snap out of it. Wind's going to be blowing in a little bit from right field, so it's just. And we sat here, and I'll tell you, and I know why he was batting 6 on Saturday night, because he was lefty-lefty. But I tell you, and it's early, but, and we've talked to coaches. Now, you can't change your approach at the plate when you go to Omaha with some things we've done. I'll say, well, okay, the Ianson kid is going to be leading off. I mean, not Irons. The Carrio. He got on base 3 out of 4 plate appearances.
Yeah.
I mean, he hits line drives. He takes his base. He's got plate discipline. The going against lefties and righties, the splits. It's almost like 200 points difference in his batting average. Okay, but he's a good one to have. So get on base. Let's see stump from the stretch and stuff like that to try and get started.
I loved the at bat in the 8th where he goes down. He goes down 0-2 and he can 2 outs and he fights one off the other way and slices for an RBI single, gives him another run. He'll be back up against the right-hander. He'll be back up at the top of the order today. I expect Jake Brown in the lineup for Josh Pearson with the right-hander in the lineup today. Probably be hitting somewhere in the I don't know what he does. Is he going to drop Fry or Jones in this lineup against the right-hander and maybe put Brown in the 3 or 4 hole today? That'd be interesting.
He's so advanced for a freshman, with his approach at the plate, and it lends itself to winning baseball. Everybody wants to get on, but he doesn't overswing. If he puts the ball in play, he's out from the box to first. He's really quick, coming from the left side. So you think of some of the left side, and of course Major League Baseball is mostly historically what we think about. And it's a little bit of a stretch, but you see some of those left-handed hitters that really, okay, there's a Tony Gwynn, there's a Wade, high average guys, high on-base percentage. It's not identical because his hands are already close to the zone, but in this guy's was more relaxed. It was almost like a relaxed, but it's the same effect that he's got less movement required to get the bats. Rod Carew.
Oh wow, that's a great one.
And he goes. I mean, they just high average guys. You know what I mean? Not power guys, but they're not going to strike out. Quan from Oregon State now with Cleveland right now
Mm-hmm.
doesn't strike out at all. He's always going to put the ball in play. He's more of a throwback as well. So I'm impressed with the kids, his approach at the plate. It's very advanced, and it's kind of a lost art.
Yeah, the Rod Carew example I like a lot. Yesterday was Father's Day. Hope you enjoyed the afternoon. Hope all your gift-giving ideas were enhanced by some ideas we gave you from the Thibodeau store. Now that Father's Day is over and we're getting into the heat, the heart of the summer, if you're working in your yard, so many specials right now at the ThibodeauStore.com. Trimmers and accessories, garden holes, patio furniture, potting and topsoil, spreaders and seeders, outdoor power equipment, all of these things you can use to get your property in shape. Once you get everything looking good, outdoor cooking, grills, griddles, big green egg cookers, all of them available at the Thibodeau store. And you go to the website, thethibodeaustore.com. Doesn't matter how you spell it. We got that taken care of. And, of course, the sister property down in Pierre Part, the Pierre Part store, where you can order lumber for delivery. They've been in business for over 113 years. Cajun cooking specialty cookware shipped right to you. Yeah, that's it.
It's long.
Shipped right to your door. Again, thethibodeaustore.com, 900 St. Patrick Highway if you're going down to visit the facility with all your cooking accessories available there.
113 years. That's how long it takes Oakmont to drain.
Well, they'd have had to play in the mud today. We could have played in the rain or we can play in the mud. Those are your choices. Live at the Queen, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Otten Hanny from the Queen Casino on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And today's show also brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, your full-service financial planners. When it comes to retirement, no two situations are alike. Let Coastal Capital Advisors work with you. Business partners, tax professionals, and a legal team to make sure all your retirement goals are achieved. Coastal Capital Advisors will work for you, and I know because they've been working for me for a long time. Build a lifetime, establish that relationship with them, and it doesn't matter where you are in life, whether your age, whether your income level is, they're going to maximize it for you. For more information, contact Philip Fontenot and his staff, 337-981-1376. Online, it's coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, member FINRA, SIPC. Stakes couldn't be any higher for LSU and UCLA. We remind you that there's no difference between Game 1 and Game 2 as far as the winning and losing. The winner of today's UCLA-LSU game goes to Wednesday night's game at 6 o'clock. They only have to win one more time to get to the finals. If they were to lose that game Wednesday, they play again on Thursday. They win that one, they go to the finals. If you lose today, you have to come back tomorrow night at 6 o'clock and play to get into the Wednesday game to win that one, and you have to win it twice. Yes, LSU's done this before, but it is a Herculean task that really will test the depth of your pitching staff. That's what Arkansas is looking at right now. That's what the second team that will be in that game, the one that loses today, will be in as well. Coastal Carolina has already put themselves into the Wednesday winners bracket game on the other side of the bracket. Oregon State and Louisville, you got any thoughts about that?
I think it's going to be very competitive.
That game's tomorrow at 1. Yeah.
I think that now both of these teams know that they have to win 3 in a row. I just think there's a little wind taken out of your sail when you have a when you lose that marble game, the game like LSU's in today, and I think this game came to the last at bat the first time they played. Even though Oregon State, it was kind of they were a little sloppy in the field to allow Louisville to tie it in the top of the ninth. But I just I think it should the line should be way tighter. I think Louisville can win. It wouldn't shock me to see Louisville win. So I like Oregon State's team, but they also had their two guys, kind of like LSU. Mm-hmm. You got your two starters, and they're going to be really tough as long as they stay in the winners bracket. But now they got to find somebody that they would have rather not have it started. So I think it's going to be a very close game.
Yeah.
Very close game.
I do too. those are two solid clubs.
They both could be pitching down.
Yeah, I like Louisville's approach at the plate. Watched that game yesterday, and it's a well coached.
So you know, we hadn't talked about which was when people breaking down the stats and Coastal and how many times they've been hit by pitches, and like flat out, no, they practice it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? They have 30 more hit by pitches than the second most in all of college baseball. It's been called twice. Both games, once where an intentional hit by pitch is a strike. And one time was the 3-2 pitch, and it was a strikeout. So they hit. It could be a run. No, there's no run. No runners advance, and it's an out, too. And they called it again last night. And both times it was reviewed, and both times it was upheld. I don't think it was blatant in either case, which tells me the opposing coaches are alerting the umpiring crew. And that's what you do. That's what you're smart, because they're definitely inviting it. The rule is you stand still, you don't have to, but you can't move into the pitch at all. And there was the slightest flinch by the kid's elbow from Coastal, but they called it. So they're anticipating it. If they weren't alerted, I can't see how they would actually call it on the field.
It's an art form, and I've seen the Jordan twins when they were here were really good at it. I always felt like he had kind of a magnet in his legs. The Bo Jordan, I believe.
Don Bale or Craig Biggio, Bagwell.
Yeah, it's an art form. But moving into it, there was one year, about 15 years ago, the NCAA decided we're going to enforce this, okay? If you don't make, not just you stand, if you stand there and get hit, we're going to make you stay at the plate. You have to make an attempt to get out of the way. Well, the year, it was a farce because you had these pitches that were 3-4 feet off the plate. But because you didn't make this miraculous effort to get out, you didn't get the hit by pitch. They rescinded that the next year. It only lasted 1 year. LSU practices this too. Okay, Jay Johnson is very adamant. Hold your ground, and you'll get hit by a pitch. LSU's been hit by 89 pitches this year. Coastal's been hit by 170. Okay,
no, it's
just to kind of
double
give you the dramatic difference on a team that faces. But for you to be able to stand there is one thing. For you to be able to make that little flinch that the umpire doesn't catch, just a little lean, a little elbow out there, a little forearm out there, and you get hit with it and you get away with it, that's an art form. It's kind of like framing a strike. The really good catchers will
watch and he's the Coastal. You see
it's the little thing.
You see the graphic of how many pitches he has gotten called strikes with. So
that saves you a little bit. Is that the difference in every game? Maybe not, but it might be the difference in one game. It might be the difference in one series.
It's attention to the little things that put you in better, that win you games that aren't the highlight-driven things. It's winning baseball. It's high IQ baseball, and that's the. They've got some arms. They got a great approach at the plate. How many home runs are we at through 6 games?
4?
Yeah, I mean,
right.
What you gonna do? You gonna swing for the fences?
And today's even worse because the wind's blowing in.
You can get out to left.
Yeah.
So when Coastal hit the was it Coastal or Arizona that hit the Oppo one to left that just got over the guy, almost had it.
Oh, he hit strike 3 and then he hit it. Yeah, it went out to left. I forgot if the guy was. I think he was right-handed, but
it was Oppo.
Okay, it went out to left.
Yeah,
but he had strike 3.
It's blowing the same way. It's blowing in from right, but kind of to left field, so you can get it out to left.
Yeah. Those little
zero alley to alley though.
Yeah,
so far
those little things. I remember. Why do I have a right fielder in left field and a left-hander in right field if I can help it? I'm not gonna do somebody that's 50 points below in batting average, but it's because I don't have to pivot on balls in the corner. It might get me 3 more outs a year.
It's anything that these kids have been trained on and drilled so much if they played up to U12 tournament ball. I mean, you're mad you gave up a hit. Get off the damn mound and back up home or third. Yeah. Because I've seen them sit on the mound and they come home when the ball gets away when there's plays at the plate. I mean, it's the ball's hit to the left side of the infield. The right field is just standing. No, go down just in case he sails it. I mean, it's just everybody does something on every play, and they drill them on that and just. But the stars, the stronger kids are the ones that are being recruited. And I'll tell you one thing. There's no doubt kids in college punt the ball better than the MLB. Not even close. It is not even close how much better they bunt the ball. And that wins you games, man.
LSU's had some really meaningful bunts in this run here in the last half season. Dickinson's bunt the other night was beautiful.
Louisville's down in the 8th, and at first and second, nobody out. He gets a bunt single. How many times we've seen people on court in college baseball defending a bunt, fielding a bunt, and they uncork it down the line, or do so, kick it, or the bunt to the right side, the pitcher and the first baseman are kind of in no man's land together. I mean,
the play at the plate like yesterday.
Which play?
They bunt the ball right back to the mound. They're trying to squeeze one in. He flips it to the he flips it to the catcher. The throw is
what game was that?
This afternoon game yesterday.
Oh, Louisville.
Yeah, he's flipping the ball to the plate on a bunt. They drop the ball. They don't.
I saw LSU lose a national championship because they couldn't execute in the field against small ball.
98.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, lost a national championship because it. But if you apply pressure, you put the ball in play. I mean, at this level, some teams are better at it, but stronger. And this is where this LSU team is with their arms and their gloves. They're tough. They're tough out, man.
Bring the sticks today. Bring the sticks. We're brought to you by Total Maintenance, AC and heating, generators, electricity, plumbing. Total Maintenance, your one-stop sales and service shop for all of these needs since 1980. The slogan is service today, every day, so you don't have to go to sleep hot. Total Maintenance with full offices, full staff in both New Orleans and Baton Rouge. An authorized dealer for Carrier, American Standard, Daykin, and Ream AC units, Generac and Cummings generators. All your electrical and plumbing needs as well. In Baton Rouge, it's 480-1000. In New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day at Total Maintenance. Back here to wrap it up at the Queen, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Otten Hanny from the Queen Casino on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Just a few minutes away, about 7 minutes away from the first pitch of, or the broadcast start of the game this afternoon. Arkansas and Murray State. We'll see if the Hogs can stay alive there. Fun little fact, it doesn't seem like it's been this long, but LSU has not won their first two games in Omaha since 2009. The 2017 run to the finals and the 2023 run to the national championship all came out of the losers bracket. I'd like to avoid that this time, if at all possible. Paul Skeen's supposed to be in the stands tonight. They're off today.
Okay.
They play in Detroit tomorrow. And Livy Dunn's been there. I think you've probably seen her.
Yep.
On
gotta follow her.
Find a platform. She's on it. But Skeens is supposed to be in attendance tonight for LSU and UCLA. So we'll see how that goes. Any final thoughts about how this one?
Just talk to the guys at the window over here at the Queen, and everybody's banking on that Cinderella's striking midnight tonight. The total is now up to 13.
This is the Arkansas Murray State game that's about to start.
Yes. Yeah, Arkansas Murray State, and nobody's back in Murray State.
It's hard.
It's up to 4.5 runs. Some places still 3.5 runs, so minus 35. But I mean, the total is going up. It's 2 runs.
I'm not going to try to swim upstream here. I expect Arkansas to explode today. Look, it'd be great if Murray State beat them, but I can't in good conscience say that Arkansas is not going to come out with a big effort.
In these conditions, a jump? I mean, is he going to put up some zeros?
Gage Wood?
Gage Wood, yes.
I think 4 innings is what I'm expecting out of him. And then
that's it?
That's about that's about where he's going to be.
Okay.
Thanks to the folks here at the Queen for being our host today. Tomorrow we're at Mike Anderson Seafood, Wesley at Nicholson. For Jimmy, for Max, and for Jordan back in the studio, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.